All right. Well,
Can I ask another question? For if we have any high school students that are watching this, I know a lot of high school students are still in their parents' house. They're getting those messages all the time. Any kind of advice you have for any of the students who are still in high school who are getting the be a doctor message, but maybe might already know that that's not what they want to do, just how to navigate their families?
Yeah. So what I would say is that the reason why these parents say this type of stuff is because they're so worried about trying to make a living and just trying to survive. So I think one key step is just trying to understand where they're coming from rather than being mad. And once you get past that, I think you should just focus on just living your best life and just exploring what makes you happy. And yeah, just breaking that pressure of just trying to fit into like a certain profession. I think we all just live life and just came natural to what we want to do for a career or like for a path, and something that we genuinely enjoy doing. That's not it's not as easy as it sounds, but you just gotta just explore and just live your life, and then it'll come to you once you realize it. And
Can I add something to that?
It'll be all right.
Can I add something to that?
Go ahead. Yeah.
I think this is something I've been thinking about a lot too, about my family's journey. And my family's journey is very similar to many students at Proyce. Like Jimmy said, we're all kind of the same, right? I think no matter what they want you to do, the fact that you're graduating high school and going to college, it doesn't matter what degree you're pursuing, just the fact that you're doing that is beyond their wildest imaginations of what their kid could achieve one day, like really considering where they came from. And if you can do that, and if you can be happy and do what you do while also being able to support yourself, like that's a lot more than they had. That's all they want for us is to have more than what they had, and to be happy doing what you want to do, and to be able to support yourself. That's more than enough, I think.
I have one more kind of pointed question before we ask. I want to ask some like comparison brother questions, just for fun. I want to know who's the best cook, but we'll get to that. So, Kenny, for a family that doesn't have a history of trust and getting mental health help, what advice would you give to a teenager who wants their parents to understand the importance of mental health wellness, and how can they talk their parents into getting therapy? I know those are two similar but not the same questions, but what advice would you give a teenager in trying to make mental health and wellness a new part of their family dynamic?
Can I add something real quick? So a little anecdote about mental health. I think maybe summer of my second year or something like that. I think I talk to my mom a lot, or yeah, more than my dad for sure. And I was like breaking down, and I told her I had mental health issues, and she was like, we're crying together, and she was like why, like you have a house, like we feed you, stuff like that, and like I told her like I know, but like that's not it, and I wasn't able to or get through with her. I don't think she like could understand it, just because like mental health was not like talked about when she was growing up at all. In Vietnamese culture, like that's not a thing. Like it's a lot of like material things. So you go ahead, Kenny.
So just a good bridge question. So that's a perfect example. How do you make that connection, Kenny? How do you start? How does a young person start that as being a part of their family dynamic when it has not existed in the past?
Yeah, there's obviously some barriers. You know, a lot of young Asian Americans growing up, they get to this point in their life when the mental health issues start appearing as teenagers. They've lost a lot of that language, and it's not like the Mexican community, where they usually keep their language pretty strong throughout their life. Like Asian Americans tend to lose their language over time just because we're not speaking enough. And so to get over that barrier, like you're going to need help, right? You don't have to do this by yourself. Just like getting help for your mental health, you don't have to do it by yourself. You reach out to people, and it's hard because it's not very advertised. But and I didn't know it before either. But UPAC, the place I intern at right now, it's Union of Pan Asian Communities. They provide services targeted towards Asians and Asian Americans, and they have therapists that speak almost every Asian language you can think of. And they provide services to children, which is where I work, and to adults. And if you call and you want to get services for yourself, and you think that bringing in your family and having them understand what you're going through is helpful for your treatment, they can help call your parents for you, and or bring them in, bring in your family, do a family session. And usually if you have Medi-Cal, it's usually free. And if you don't have insurance, it's usually free too. They try to make it work. And so, yeah, if you want, my advice is if you want to reach out, if you want to educate your family and try to educate them on mental health and the mental health experiences that you're going through, you don't need to do it by yourself. There's programs, organizations out there like UPAC that could help.
And this is a prime example of brotherhood, because that's really good information, and it's so good that we need it to appear on the screen, and Brian is going to make that appear on the screen when he edits this. That's brotherhood right there, baby. So we have a perfect commercial for UPAC that we're going to definitely make a commercial for UPAC, because it's so important, and this is such a part of our core values with Kneeling and Healing. And everybody's gonna play a role in expanding this. And again, Brian's gonna make that information appear right there as we package this, because we all play a role in improving our society. So anyways, just so dope to think of all those connections like coming together for this.
And do you all have like special roles in your family? And in my family, the three of us have very different roles. Is that how it works in yours? Like, is one of you the spokesperson for the family? Is one of you the ones that does like administrative work? And what does it look like in terms of helping the family run and responsibility in your house?
I can answer this one. Yeah, it's like for traditional Vietnamese families, like it's usually the first child gets like 99% of like the responsibility.
Yep.
That's all Kenny. Yeah. And definitely appreciate him for that. It's not an easy job.
Yeah. I do everything. I was gonna say I do everything. I think because I also speak the best Vietnamese, and so it's easier for them to communicate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And but yeah, man, it gets annoying. I mean, I'm happy to do it for them, but it gets a lot sometimes. Like, obviously during COVID, I started my grad school during COVID, and I'm in like Zoom class. I had to buy locks for my door because they would keep coming in and asking me to help them do stuff. And Asians never put locks on their kids' doors. So after that, I went to Walmart and I bought a lock. I'm like, all right, if you need my help, you're gonna tell me beforehand, not like walk in the door.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, my role is just to get good grades. Get good grades for them.
We're talking about all their special roles in the house. So Kenny has the bulk of the responsibility in the house.
Pretty
in
much.
Our house, it's all specialized by skill. It seems like it's mostly Kenny.
Was it always that way in your household growing up, Oscar? Or did it take time to develop it? Was your older brother, was the pressure on him at first? And now that you're all grown and came back, you have by skill, or was it always you got that one, you got that one, you got that one?
It sort of became like who was in the house and willing to do the work. My oldest brother, being the firstborn, was sort of like the second authority figure. So he kind of had to give the okay for anything before my mom and dad felt good about it. Even my own decisions, once he said okay, then they were happy with me making my decisions, which was, that was an issue. Yeah, now that we're all adults and we're all very specialized now. Yeah, so I'm more the administrator. Faustino's like the medical consultant. Ricky's the handyman, jack of all trades kind of thing. And so, yeah, we coordinate across and manage all their bills and their appointments and all that kind of stuff.
That sounds like an efficient household right there.
Yeah, I'm the one that oversees their taxes. Faustino's the one that's on the phone calls for the doctors. Ricky comes in and fixes things. I'm the one like making purchases for them. It works out well that way. But it takes three of us to make it work.
It sounds like a dream. I think we're gonna have to start figuring something out because I'm moving out next year. So yeah, we got to figure something out.
Yeah.
Man up, literally.
Yeah.
Who's the best cook?
Kenny.
I say it's me.
Okay.
That's like the best cook. We should rank this. Do a ranking.
Hey, Jimmy, you coming in second?
I think I'm second.
If you count breakfast burritos as
he has specialty dishes. Dishes.
It's the only thing he knows how to make, breakfast burritos.
Yeah, I make one dish. I say Brian second. Yeah, I'm last. But I still cook for myself.
Well, you do have the benefit of you had that dorm food, so you didn't have the opportunity to explore your culinary talents yet.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Okay. I know one of the first, most encouraging conversations when we first started doing Kneeling and Healing was when we had Brian was telling us about how he disagreed that you all had a friendly fire when we had a friendly fire about sports.
WNBA. I was about the WNBA.
Okay, and so what did you each? Where did you?
I was with you, Mr. Ramos. I was with you.
I was with you in the car.
So, just in case our viewers haven't seen that episode, we were talking about if women and men should be paid equally in sports, and we went through some nuance because it's not as simple as because sports aren't paid equally, and so squash. I don't know how wealthy squash players are compared to golfers, compared to NBA players, compared to Premier League soccer players. So there's a lot of nuance to that conversation. Sounds like it sparks some conversation in your household. So my follow-up question to that is, who argues the most out of you three? Who's the most arguing with each other? And I mean more like debating rather than not necessarily fighting.
I mean, usually we kind of agree on most stuff, but I'll say I'm very stubborn.
Brian Kenny.
Yeah, we haven't argued in a long time, but if it were to happen between me and Brian, I don't think it would make sense between me and Jimmy. Is it?
Who's mom's favorite?
Oh man.
I don't know, but you don't agree on it. Normally it would be like everyone points to one.
Yeah.
So there's no clear-cut favorite.
No,
I'd say maybe more Jimmy, just because he's the baby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She worries about him more.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's an age.
Yeah.
That usually happens to the youngest one. I think that's understandable.
He saw the baby to her eyes.
Yeah.
Well, if there's not a clear-cut favorite, a lot of times it evolves. Kenny, you'll end up being the favorite because you'll be probably the oldest. They then expect to take care of them the most. So the older you get, it'll be like, oh, Kenny's next up. He's gonna take care of us when we're old.
Yeah.
that
Let's-
dynamic changes a little bit too.
I agree. I agree.
Let's call her. Let's phone her mom. Just kidding.
If we turn this thing into a game show, definitely we need to add that element. All right. Any other questions you have for them, Oscar?
No, I think we covered them well. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank y'all for inviting us on. I watch all your videos. I feel like I'm on TV right now.
Well, when your brother's done, you will be on TV. If you pull up YouTube on your TV like I do, doing the dishes, that's how I review these things. So you're going to be a star to all 50 viewers.
All 50 viewers
All 50.
are tens of viewers.
Oh man.
That brings up, we'll kind of end with this. So there's been debate or discussion, not debate, discussion about like with kneeling and healing, like where are we going? Like, do we care about views? Do we care about how much discussion comes from this? Like, who are we making this for? What is its purpose? And I think our purpose was really clear last summer, kind of documenting last summer's experiences, and then also documenting how our former students are making a difference on a daily basis in different ways. Some in more in ways that are much more apparently active, and then some more behind the scenes in supportive roles. And so, Kenny, what would you, and I'm going to ask you all this, Kenny, what direction would you like to see Kneeling and Healing go after this? My summer is up in like 2 weeks. So summer season may be ending pretty soon. And Oscar's in school and will be in school. He's in school educating himself and will be in school teaching very soon as well. So this question is for each of you. What would you like to see come from this?
I think like a good mixture of both of the content that the two types of content that you've been putting out right now. I really enjoy seeing you and Mr. Ramos talk things out, debate things out, friendly fire, you know. But I also like to hear about some of my peers that I used to go to school with and seeing what they're up to now.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I really love when it's just you and Car and Mr. Ramos. Like I don't know. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people think that way, and your minds are very interesting, and yeah. So like I would like to see some more of that for sure, and also the guest as well. But yeah, for me, I'm just thinking about how like I can improve it, you know, and stuff like that.
Maybe add some clickbait titles. We can really get this to the moon.
Well, and it's funny because the question that Ramos asked about like your parents and expectations, I was ready to ask it in a more clickbaity way. IG, you only have the first like 10 seconds or you know before it's IGTV, the little tease. Like I was ready to like, so your parents want you to be doctors and engineers. Why not?
Mr. Carr has much more of the TV type mind. Yeah.
When did you guys decide to disappoint your parents?
Oh God.
I'm happy with disappointing your parents. Go.
For real.
Actually, maybe we'll still use that part anyway. And then and edit it from there on. All right, Jimmy, what do you, is there anything that they haven't said that you would add to the direction of what you'd like to see as far as our content?
I mean, other things they haven't said. I don't know if this is like in the contract, but maybe like I feel like since most of your demographic of the show is like pro students, and like current pro students, maybe having other staff members of pros, maybe some principals or like I don't know, like admin, just to see their mindset. I feel like it would be beneficial for students to see this other side of teachers. It's not just teaching or trying to get them into college, but like actual like it issues of society. I feel like that's something that students can relate with, something they would enjoy. Yeah.
And there are reasons why we haven't. We want to make sure, so current students, we want to make sure, well, we want to be able to speak our minds and without being held to the expectations of a teacher. Because you are all adults, we could debate topics without it sounding like we are trying to convince you of our own political ideologies. I mean, even if we are, it's okay, you're adults. Whereas when we're hired as teachers, we are not supposed to be showing favoritism or our own biases. We try to do that as little as possible. And the amount of times that Trump has come out of Oscar's mouth, we wouldn't be able to do that if we had current students. So that's why we haven't had current students on here. I think the most close to current was we had Paris on the first episode, and she had graduated a week ago. So that's kind of what we have, why we haven't done that. And yeah, maybe in our last episode, we did have a current, another current staff member, but she's an alumni. So that was that part. So, okay. We'll definitely think about that and see if we can work that in. Fellas, it's been great seeing you. I miss you all. It's funny because I feel like I have a relationship with each of you and it's not connected to the other one. like it's a completely different relationship with each of you. But I feel so close to each of you. But it's just so different, which is cool. Like that's as good as it gets. Like if I showed up to your parents' house, we would all three have different inside jokes. You know what I mean? And the other ones might not even get it. And so I think that's cool that you've developed into the individuals you are while still holding those same family values, traditions, and all the family likeness. It's so great to see.
Yeah, it's
Thank you.
great to see you guys. You know, I'm not sure if I've met your parents. If I've met your parents, maybe it's just been very quickly once, but I know you must have amazing parents to see them, you know, give the world these three wonderful men. So, you know, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, really great seeing y'all, for sure.
Are you coming back to San Diego anytime, Mr. Ramos?
I'll be there briefly. Yes, I'll be there briefly over the Christmas break.
Christmas break. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to contact you on Facebook.
Definitely. I'll announce it. I'll be around. So yeah, and we hope to be somewhere in San Diego and like see people. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just thought of a party or something, so we'll stop there, but maybe we need to do something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, sounds good.
Wait, I have a
Thanks for
question.
having.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Who do you think looks the most different from the last time you've seen? Which brothers?
I haven't seen you guys in a long. I haven't seen you guys in a long time. I gotta say, Brian with a beard, man. That's it's a good look. It's a good look, and you definitely didn't have that. So I mean, yeah, there's a big transformation.
Thank you.
I had you, Jimmy, most recently in class, but then I saw. I mean, me and Brian talk on a weekly basis, putting this together. Sometimes FaceTime, usually not. And then Kenny came through on the Zoom a couple months ago. So, I mean, Kenny looks the most like a actual like adult.
Yes,
Oh
I
man.
agree.
I see him at Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or something, and I'd just be like, "Oh, that's the grown ass man that has a does this thing. You might have kids." You two look like you are in. Thank you. You two still look like you're in college, you know what I mean? And you still have your youth and can experiment with some hair color. Or, Kenny looks like a grown man that has a job. And that part's different. Like that's a different level of maturity. That's my answer.
Thank you for having us.
All
I
right.
appreciate it.
Glad we coordinated, too. It's hard to manage getting all of us on.